I am Matt Smith. This is Nilo Piro for Mile High Sports from the Pepsi Center, where the Nuggets get it done for the second game in a row. 95-94. They take down the Miami Heat tonight. And Nilo, this is what I like to call escaping with a win.
Yeah, man. Listen, let's fast forward a little bit here real quick. End of the game. The Nuggets are able to claw back into this one after, Miami was on point all through the first half. They establish a lead in the third quarter, keep that lead throughout most of the fourth quarter. Miami goes on a 13-2 run late. Millsap with an opportunity late as well to convert 2 free throws, misses both. Malone has all the confidence in the world in his brand new 4-time All-Star and decides to give him the ball with, I believe, under 25 seconds left at that point in a one-possession game. Millsap gets fouled on a 3-point attempt, heads to the line, hits 3 free throws in redemption style, and yeah, Nuggets escape 95-94 in what was absolutely epic, gut-wrenching fashion.
And what you didn't mention was Dion Waiters, who almost won the game for the Heat. A pull-up 3 from the left wing. It was down and rattled in and out. And what was interesting is there was still time on the clock when that ball popped up. And something head coach Michael Malone said after the game is that he was really glad that the ball spun around the rim because Hassan Whiteside was right there for the putback. So the Nuggets got lucky tonight, but a win the night before you have the first of a back-to-back against the Warriors tomorrow. That's certainly something that you'll take every single day, no matter how you get it. A win is a win. Paul Millsap with a big game tonight. 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. And boy, Anilo, I asked him after the game, are you getting more comfortable in this Nuggets offense? And he said definitely. He knew it would take a little while, and it certainly has, about 9-10 games into the season here. And we're starting to see the Nuggets look more like what we saw the second half of last season. Millsap being a huge part of their success at the moment in time, and Nikola Jokic had himself a pretty solid game too.
Yeah, 100%. And real quick on Millsap, we talked to Michael Malone after the game, and he said despite Millsap missing those initial 2 free throws, they were going to give the ball back to him regardless to give him another chance. He's a 4-time All-Star, just signed a lucrative 3-year, $90 million contract to be here. He is their guy. That's something that this organization has been lacking for the previous 4 seasons. So they got their guy, but like you alluded to, man, Nikola Jokic did so much. A double-double, I believe, 19 points, 14 rebounds, and I really just it was just a fantastic game. And Michael Malone said after the game about Jokic, there's not a lot this young man can't do, and that's very true. So Millsap and Jokic working together to learn how to space the floor together, and it paid off for them big time tonight.
Something we've seen the last few games now is coming out of the locker room at halftime. The Nuggets have been really good, especially defensively. It seems to have been an emphasis. Now, Malone, post-game, was asked about it, and he said that the conversation in the locker room was rated NC-17. But then we asked the players, and they all seemed to think it was pretty quiet in the locker room. So I think that is a good sign that maybe it's more of an unspoken thing, that these guys are really starting to realize that, okay, that team was really hot. That's not going to happen for 2 halves in a row, so let's go out and assert ourselves in the defensive end. And we saw that with some good aggressive defense tonight, the second night in a row. And yes, they only win by 1, but like we were saying, a win is a win, and tonight they got it with a defensive stop. Even though that ball was pretty much down, it was a stop, and that was a game that they probably lose last season, which is something else Malone said after the game, which I totally agree with.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with that statement, and I think, it comes down to a year of growth with Gary Harris, a year of growth with Nikola Jokic, adding Paul Millsap, Will Barton with some pretty decent lockdown, not lockdown, but that shot that Waiters put up at the end, it was a pretty fairly contested shot. Although it was close to going in. It's the little nuances that Denver has been able to kind of pull out this year that we haven't seen in years past. That's really kind of leading them towards, a path towards success right now. It's great to see, obviously, 2 wins in a row now. They got the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night, which is certainly going to be a challenge, coming off on a short rest. Golden State is in town actually tonight, resting for that game tomorrow. But certainly, like you said, an escape game, but a win nonetheless. Great stuff for the Denver Nuggets tonight.
Yeah, they got to find a way to strap it on tomorrow night. And one guy that you would expect to come out and play well tomorrow night is Jamal Murray, who, coming off of 3 back-to-back 20-point games, only played 20 minutes tonight, 1 of 6 from the field, 3 points, didn't play a second in that fourth quarter. Emmanuel Mudiay has really stepped up and has been a consistent backup point guard, which is what the Nuggets have really been looking for. And for them keeping them, they took a lot of scrutiny for not dealing him on draft night. They took a lot of scrutiny for not dealing him, in the offseason. Part of it for me too. And he deserves a ton of credit for the amount of work that he put in over the summer. It's a small sample size, just the first 9 games of the season, but the Nuggets have to be thrilled with what they're getting out of the former number 7 overall pick in the draft. And tonight, he was the one who outplayed Murray. And like you talked about, Barton with that last second defense. he was the point guard at the end of this game.
And one thing to go off that real quick is Barton Wilson Chandler alluded to after the game that Barton pulled him inside and said, I want to guard Dion Waiters. It's that killer instinct, that mentality that I want this situation to be mine, that's going to really help carry this team, hopefully to the next step. Again, Millsap's going to help that. Jokic evolving is going to help that. But when you have a guy like Will Barton who necessarily isn't a featured piece in this system, who's willing to do that sort of thing, it's great to see in terms of, just everybody buying in. That's something that Wilson Chandler really did allude to, is this team is locked in 24/7 and they know it's at stake all the time.
Definitely, and they certainly know what is at stake tomorrow night.
Yes.
As Anilo mentioned a little bit earlier, the Warriors come into town, a home back-to-back for the Nuggets, and the Warriors owe the Nuggets one. This is what I told Anilo. This one feels like a scheduled loss. Back-to-back, the Nuggets have played 3 games. It'll be their 3rd game in 4 days, and boy, you're going to have to strap it on and give the defending champions a shot, your best shot, because they're going to come in here wanting to kick their teeth in after the last few performances.
Listen, this is a team that's resilient, though, and we've seen that resiliency throughout a lot of the season, so I'm very interested to see how this team comes out, because, they've proven me specifically wrong over the course of the past 2 days, or the past 2 games, excuse me, so they've really improved on the defensive end. Their shooting is, getting up to speed and whatnot, but like I said, they're doing the little things right. Their 3rd game, like you said, in 4 days, going to be exhausted to a certain extent. It's going to be a big challenge, but one that I think the Nuggets are ready for.
We'll see. He's more confident than I am, that's for sure. I think that that's a loss, no doubt about it.
We'll see. Hey, they beat them 2 years in a row, and they always play the Golden State Warriors tight. Regardless, it's going to be a great evening.
And the Nuggets beat them in the preseason too. We talked about it in our last video. The Warriors owe the Nuggets one.
Yes, 100%.
So if the Nuggets show up tomorrow night, keep the game close. In my opinion, I think that's a win for Denver. However, obviously, if you want to make the playoffs, you have to be okay with more than moral victories.
Exactly.
And the Nuggets got 2 big wins to start this homestand. 2-0. They moved to 5-4 on the season. A good win for the Nuggets tonight. They escape with one here, and a sense of relief for this team as they rest up for the next 8 hours or so before they have to be in this building again for shoot-around in the morning. Anilo Piro, Matt Smith for Mile High Sports from the Pepsi Center. Thank you as always for tuning in, and make sure you go to milehighsports.com and check out all of our Nuggets coverage from guys like TJ McBride, Devlier Johnson, Anilo,
the whole squad,
Ronnie Court. We got tons of guys. Jeff Morton. We got a lot here.
It's going to be fantastic, and that's what we're super excited about over at milehighsports.com and magazine and radio, for that matter, is we have an abundance of things in the works, not just with the Nuggets, but all the other beats as well. I know you're over at the Buffs and whatnot, so a lot of great stuff planned ahead for Mile High Sports.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Until next time.